Good morning, all. Hope you have gone through the yesterday's session. We have learned what is a hardware and what are the major components of a computer, and we have seen the difference between computer architecture and computer organization. Today we will learn about the components of computers. In short, we will see what is the meaning and what are the major functions involved with these units. First we will see input unit, then output unit, and what is the meaning of storage or memory unit, and we will see the purpose of using central processing unit, that is CPU. And we will learn one more topic in this particular session about storage capacity. We are storing the data inside the computer in terms of bits, and it can be of type byte, that is the group of bits. So we will learn about this in this particular session. So what is an input unit? It would be composed of those devices which take input from the users, and it will convert it into binary form or the digital form which the computer can understand. So it acts as a medium through which user can send information into computer. So major functions include: it will accept the data and instructions from the users. It will convert the analog data that are collected from the users into computer acceptable digital or binary form. This process is known as digitizing, and this digital data will be supplied into computer for further processing. So these are the major functions involved with input unit. Examples for input unit are keyboard, mouse, etc. There are several types of input devices which will be described in detail in the chapter 4, that is the module 4. We will cover the details about the input units and various devices involved under this particular category. An output unit will perform the reverse operation of an input unit. The output unit would be composed of the devices that provide information back to the computer users in a human acceptable form. There are several functions involved with this. It will accept the data or information produced by computer, which is always in a digital form. Then it will convert it into analog form that can be understood by a human. Then it will be supplied to the users. Mostly the results and the processed data, which means information will be supplied to the users. Examples for output devices include printers, plotters. There are many more types of output devices, and we will discuss about each and every one along with the topic output unit under module 4. Next one is the storage or memory unit. It's a collection of storage cells together with associated circuits needed to transfer information in and out of storage. We can store information or data inside the computer using the storage or memory unit. The major functions involved are: it stores data and instructions to be processed. Then it will store intermediate results during processing. Then it will store final results of processing before releasing it to users. So for storing anything, any data or information or instructions, we are using the memory unit. There are several types of memory, including primary memory. It's also known as main memory, and we may use secondary memory, or we can have cache memory and registers. Registers are actually part of a CPU, but due to its storage capability, it can be considered as part of memory unit also. So we can consider register as a memory unit, and it is actually part of the CPU. So we will discuss about the memory access methods and memory hierarchy, and we will see each and every category of memory in this particular module. Examples for memory unit include RAM, ROM, magnetic disk, also known as hard disk, then CD, DVD, etc. Now we are going to discuss about the major or the most important component of a computer, that is known as Central Processing Unit, abbreviated as CPU. It is considered as the brain of a computer system. All major calculations and comparisons are made by the CPU. It is also responsible for activating and controlling the operations of other units of a computer. So, CPU is the major component, and it is also known as the processor inside a computer. And the structural components inside the CPU include registers, arithmetic and logic unit, and control unit. As we discussed, registers are considered as a type of memory, and these are small amounts of high speed memory contained within the CPU. They are used by the processor to store small amounts of data that are needed during processing. For example, we may need to store the intermediate result, or we may need to store the address of the next instruction, like that. For all that, we are using registers. These are coming under the CPU, but it is a type of memory. Next one is ALU, that is arithmetic and logic unit, performs arithmetic and logic operations. All the operations are performed by this particular unit, that is ALU. Next one is control unit. Control unit is having several functions. It will fetch, decode and execute the instructions. It will issue control signals that control hardware components within the CPU, and it also transfers data and instructions around the system. So everything will be controlled by the control unit inside the CPU. We will learn in detail about the CPU and the components inside the CPU along with the CPU organization in this particular module. Now we will see what you mean by storage capacity. Data storage capacity is the measurement of how much data can be stored in a storage device. There are different measures like bit, nibble, byte, then kilobytes, megabytes, etc. Bit is the smallest unit of data in a computer, which is also known as the binary digit. It is abbreviated as bit. It has a single binary value, either 0 or 1. And nibble is a combination of 4 bits, or we can say a half byte is known as nibble. And byte is a unit of data that is 8 binary digits long, or we can say 8-bit is 8-bit group of 8 bits is considered as a byte. Data storage capacities are measured normally in bytes. This table is kept just for your reference, no need to study as such. For example, kilobytes means 1000 bytes. We can store a paragraph of a text document using this particular storage capability. Megabytes means 1000 kilobytes. If we want to store more than a paragraph of text document, we can go for the megabytes capacity. The next one is gigabytes. It is pronounced as gigabytes, and it is 1000 megabytes. If we want to, for example, if we want to store Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, we may need gigabytes of storage capability. More than that, we have terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, zettabytes, and even yottabytes. Yottabytes of memory can be used to store information, as there are atoms in 7,000 human bodies. Such huge data can be stored if we have yottabytes of memory capability. Yes, so these are about the storage capability. This is just for your reference. You need to study only about bit, nibble, and byte. I have included the topic storage capacity in this particular session for the better understanding of the next day's session. Actually, you need not write the storage capacity topic under the components of a computer. Components of computer include only the four major components like input unit, output unit, then central processing unit and memory unit. And one more thing is there that will be discussed in the next session, that is system bus. It is also part of the basic components of a computer. We will discuss that in the next session. So for better understanding, I have included the storage capacity topic under this particular session. So don't be confused with that. You just understand what I am trying to convey with you. Thank you all.